Hello everyone and welcome to the ProHealth video series. This is video 3 of a 3-part series designed to demonstrate the visualization capabilities within the Microsoft platform. Note that all videos have been created with out-of-the-box technologies and no third-party tools have been used. Also note that all videos have been created on a de-identified set of patient data from your very own Cogito data warehouse platform. However, due to the fact that a test instance of data was used, some data points may be skewed and do not represent accurate numbers. So let's get started. So the technology that we're going to see in this video is called Power BI, and it also has a feature called Q&A. Essentially what Power BI is that it's an enabling technology that allows you to take your Power Pivot and Power View reports that you've created on-prem and push them into SharePoint Online and utilize Office 365. Once it's pushed into SharePoint Online, there's a new feature called Q&A that is a natural language query processing technology that allows us to type out English sentences against the data model that's inside of Excel that we created and produce results and visualizations on the fly. So let's take a look. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to open up a browser and we're going to log into our Office 365 subscription. And let's type a quick password. What we'll see first is just the admin center to Office 365. So there's a series of functionalities here. We're going to go straight into sites, and then we're going to go into our team site that has our Power BI feature enabled. So let's open up Power BI, and the first thing that you're going to see is a series of Power Pivot workbooks open up, or it's going to show us a quick preview, and these are models that we've pushed up into the cloud previously. So you see we have our ProHealth model that we've been using for the other 2 videos. So let's go ahead and click on that, and we're just going to show briefly that all the functionality from the desktop is available and working in the cloud as well. So you see we have our 4 reports along the bottom, and we have our same charts, and as we start to click we see that we have the same contextual filtering. So everything appears to be working fine. So if we look at diabetes, you see that we have the same Bing map integration as that we did before. We can expand this, we can zoom in, and we'll have the same flyover capability that we did just running inside of Excel. So let's minimize that. Let's check our play axis, and we still have animation here. We can still see which age groups are more volatile than others. Let's pop over to readmissions. Same thing here. Our animations still work, and our contextual filtering is responding nicely. And finally, our readmission ranking for 15 and 30-day readmits. We see that our categories are still working. So that all looks good. Now let's talk about where Microsoft is going with this technology. So once the models are pushed into SharePoint Online, as I mentioned earlier, we have this new feature called Q&A, and essentially in the middle of the screen here we see some featured questions. Now these questions were generated previously just by typing English sentences, and once we found something of interest, you can essentially save that question as a featured question, and it's available for everyone else in your department or your entire company to come in and view. So we see we have 3 featured questions in the middle here, and we're going to open up one of them and then change it on the fly. So let's go into our number of patients with diabetes questions and give it a second to load. And you can see, so let's pause this and let's take a look at what we're looking at. So the English sentence that was originally typed out is across the top. The translation of that sentence is right beneath it in blue. So where it says show age band and number of patients, where diagnosis 2 is diabetes, that's the analysis that the Q&A feature did on the fly based on what it can understand about the model. And then the blue bar visualization below was created automatically by the Q&A technology. So we can still come in and change the visualization if we want. We can resort it. Or we can actually just change the sentence and see what it's going to give us. So if we just delete a couple things here, we see that it quickly gave us a patient count where the diagnosis is diabetes. You can see on the left where our results came from. That's still the ProHealth model we've been working with. So if we want to change the visualization, let's just type by state, and we have to enable our content so it gets mapped using Bing Map integration. So it instantly is showing us our count by state, but I don't know if that's not that interesting, so let's go ahead and say by state, by city. And here we see that it's broken out our patient count by all cities. And this visualization isn't that great, so let's go ahead and change. Let's just get rid of state and see what that looks like. Okay, so you'll note that the Bing Map visual zoomed out automatically. It did that in an attempt to try and show all of our data points that it was mapping in the same screen. So even though it zoomed out real quickly, we can move this around, and let's go ahead and zoom back in to our biggest concentration. And let me move this around a little. And okay, so this starts to look a little bit better. Now we can go ahead and mouse over these areas, fly over them, and get the count as easily as that. So as a quick recap, we see that once the model is produced, not only do we have the data discovery capabilities within Power View, we have the 3D capabilities that we saw with Power Map, but once it's up into the cloud, we also have this new capability called Q&A. So thanks for watching.